The press darlings, the press darlings.
Welcome
press
to another
darlings.
Music Weekly Flick Through. And this week it's December the 3rd, 1977, and it's from the Sounds Music paper. And on the front of it, straight away, a wonderful picture of Siouxsie from Siouxsie and the Banshees, with the headline, The Ice Queen. Iconic picture of her in a Sex t-shirt from Seditionary's Sex in the King's Road, Malcolm McLaren and Vivien Westwood. That photo would be used on the infamous bootleg that came out before they were signed. Onwards. So, what else have we got? First of all, we've got Sex Pistols found not guilty. Then, never mind the bollocks display in the Virgin Nottingham, they were taken to court and found not guilty of using the word bollocks. Who would have thought it, eh? Elsewhere, the Rich Kids were about to tour. Why were playing gigs to support their excellent first single, Mannequin, and that wonderful first album, Pink Flag. 999 were news of their first album that was going to come out in early January, and it was going to be called Emergency. Of course, it was called 999. The Ramones were back yet again. This time they were going to be doing dates on New Year's Eve that would be captured forever on that legendary double album, It's Alive. Gen X had the single Wild Youth and would be playing at the Roundhouse. And Brighton band The Depressions, famous for their eye patches and bleach blonde hair, would be playing the Roxy Club. The Clash had also added an extra date in December at the Rainbow. And the Buzzcocks, who had just finished touring, started yet another tour, and their single Orgasm Addict was hovering outside the top 50. Can't imagine that had too much airplay to get any more. Elsewhere, the Art Attacks, that's Savage Pencil, Edwin Pouncey, announced that they would be having a first single. They were going to choose the tracks. It's going to be from Neutron Bomb, Monkeys in Cars, Mutant Madonna, and I Am a Dalek. And of course, it ended up being I Am a Dalek, backed with Neutron Bomb. Blitzkrieg Bop from up north were also touring and were just about to release Life is Just a So-So. Interestingly though, top of the New Wave charts was Kilburn and the High Roads. It's a bit odd. So Sound's gossip column was Jaws, which generally seemed to frequently try and feature women in various states of undress, so it was pretty sexist. However, the big news there was Malcolm McLaren was now going to become manager of the Slits, which was going to be an interesting start for the band. Later on, he would float the idea of them featuring in a disco porn movie. It's no surprise that people like Palmolive decided to jettison Malcolm. Essentially JJ Burnell had cut his hand on a glass, showing off to a couple of girls as he tried to break it in two with his hand, which essentially meant two dates were cancelled. The Stranglers were revealed as the backing band on the Celia and the Mutations single, and the Maniacs were looking for an additional guitarist as Robert Crash moved from bass to guitar. Onwards, as we go through, usual shit. Singles. John Savage. No single of the week. Instead, he reviewed Psycho Killer and liked it. Metal Urbane got the thumbs up. The Zeros Wimp, excellent single from the States, got a good review as well. However, Alternative TV disappointed. And also on there being looked at was The Wasps' Teenage Treats, Johnny and the Self-Abusers, later to become Simple Minds, and Stormtrooper, I'm a Mess, and Warsaw Pact as well were in there, who were famous for getting their album recorded, released, and out on the streets in 24 hours, which I think is also how long their contract lasted with Island Records. Over to here features an interview / feature on Rikki and the Last Days of Earth. which were a pretty unfortunate band. However, this was done by Jane Suck, a rather infamous sounds journalist, and rather wonderful at that, who sort of combined a mix of emotions and whatever. Anyway, her main line there is, well, it's only natural I'd be attracted to a band with a name like The Last Days of Earth. I've been trying to commit suicide for the last 19 years, but I hate making people happy. I'm just waiting for someone to turn me into a frog. That's the sort of kind of thing she used to do. She went mad over the band, allegedly, until she heard their record. And then changed her mind. Meanwhile, Steel Eye Spam released a new album. Nazareth, new album. Over here, we have London with an absolute massive advert for Animal Games single. Didn't go anywhere though, did it? Satan's Rats, they didn't go too far either, but their little joke there on the Sex Pistols did help them land the support slot when the Pistols played the Lafayette, which was one of their last gigs before they went over to USA and imploded. We've also got the first view of the pop group there. Massive advert for the Ramones' Rocket to Russia and an advert for Rockaway Beach. And then we have some a wonderful feature from Vivien Goldman, of course, on dub and reggae, before we get to her main feature in here on Siouxsie and the Banshees. Full of excellent quotes with her. And here's Vivien talking about Siouxsie. Siouxsie is very obviously intelligent. Too intelligent and articulate for a girly girl. At 20, she's got the assertiveness I still grasp for at 25. One look into her level, inquiring brown eyes is all it takes to know she's as likely to take shit as I am to flog my typewriter for a new frock. Maybe that's why she hasn't got a record deal. Very good, very good. Some more stuff on disco here. A load of other stuff where people that basically got nowhere. Who else have we got here? Albums, very little out here at the moment, even at this stage of the game. So the first thing we get to is The Drones, Further Temptations. This is reviewed by Alan Lewis and given 3.5 stars there. Basically sums it up. If there's no place for the drones or the lurkers or zeros of any of the average but enjoyable, non-significant young bands, then the new wave is going to wind up every bit as boring as the old wave. No fun. Sadly for the drones though, this was pretty much it. It's released on Valor Records, and Valor Records shortly went bust, leaving the drones without a record contract. And then later on they would start to lose band members and lose direction. But at the moment, this was the peak for them. Moving on, Sounds always had a load of stuff on equipment, but look at this classic, Into the Live, On the Road section. The Damned, Dead Boys and Subway Sect, reviewed by Sandy Robertson, who used to do the fanzine White Stuff. Classic pairing, Damned and Dead Boys. That's the Dead Boys with Stiff before it became a controversial AI sound on Cleopatra Records. Subway Set, curiously not even mentioned in the gig there. Moving over to here, slight Stiff Test Chiswick Challenge. This was like an all-women kind of audition night, but interesting for the fact that for the first time we're introduced to American biker punk Vermilion, she of the leather jacket and naked breasts, who then called her band Dick Envy. Later on, she would hoover up the rest of Menace once Morgan had left, and they would become Vermilion and the Aces. Also on this was a band called Painted Lady. They would become the Excellent Girl School. Over here on my ripped sheet here, because someone no doubt tore out a wonderful picture to stick on their wall, there was also a review of Penetration and the Heartbreakers, again by Jane Suck at the Vortex. Jane comments on Pauline Murray. In short, you have to knee the lecturer in front to get a glimpse of her, let alone a hard-on. Normally straight after this you get onto the gig pages, and let's face it, when you look at this you'd be going, I wish I had a time machine and could be able to go and see this. 76 bands a night you could have seen. Pick here is probably the Vortex. A Monday night, going down there you'd see Bernie Torme, the Maniacs, Art Attacks, Neo and the Wasps, which is basically a reprise of a Live at the Vortex album, but perhaps with no overdubs added on afterwards, eh? And then as we head on down, usual small ads of some sad people looking for other lonely hearts, till we get to the end, and the letters pages with some massive feature there on new hearts as we start to enter more into the power pop in early 78. And over here though, a wonderful ad for the Menace and their absolute classic Screwed Up Insane Society on illegal records. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. There'll be one every Thursday, so please subscribe and click alert. Loads more punk at www.punk77.co.uk. Have a good one.